Can you see this? I can't see it on the chat. Welcome, welcome. I see Odd Fud's already here. Zetawastakin. Odd, oh yeah, non-binary hippo. That's pretty good. Why? Hang on, I think my lens is dirty or something. I can't see crap. All right, yeah, that's much better. Sorry, YouTube. YouTube hates this one simple trick. Okay. All right. I thought I would start with cake because if you don't love cake, I don't know. I don't know who you are. But we have a suggestion for non-binary hippo. I love that. My one weird thing that I learned about my wife when we were first dating is, and it was told to me as if I already knew it, like as if it was the most normal thing in the whole world. Um, I was talking to her friends about some of her favorite things. I think because her birthday was coming up or Valentine's Day, I don't remember. And one of them told me, I think it was Haley, told me, like I said, totally conversationally, as if it was the most normal thing in the world. Like, oh yeah, and candle wax. The smell like of burnt candles and candle wax. And I was like, what? And then they told me a story about a birthday party or some sort of party where after the candles got burnt out, burnt out, blown out is something you do to your knee, and burnt out is something you feel under capitalism. So it's probably one of those that she was all for the candles. All right. Non-binary hippo. Yeah, so I was thinking cake was one. I'm just gonna start a list because I've had some thoughts. We'll do cake. We'll do well, we've done cake, check. We'll do mountains. I want to do some mountains. And then hippo. Hippo, I think wearing clothes, some sort of clothes. I think we'll start with this hippo. We've done the cake. Happy Cake Day. These are birthday candles. It's not necessarily someone's birthday, but these are birthday candles. There's something I really liked the smoke on this drawing. I don't know what it was. It was just like, smoke. Okay, let me pull up a reference photo for hippos because always use a reference photo. Hippo. I don't know when, but I started calling hippos hippons. Like in adulthood, I was like, oh yeah, hippons. Got it. And I just haven't stopped. Okay. The hippos are one of the most dangerous animals in the world. It's kind of crazy. They can run at like 35 miles an hour and they can do that underwater. It's it's a little intense. All right. Let me see. I was trying to like the stream the other day and I couldn't do it. I don't know if because I'm the creator. Anyway, I was trying again. Okay. Hippo, hippo, hippo. So hippo's interesting. Let me get the sketching pencil. Hippo's interesting because their heads are like flat. Well, I'm gonna have the hippo looking at us. So that'll be its, not a beak, but its beak. That'll be the top of its head. Super flat, tiny little ears. Okay. And then the eyes are like here, but we're not going to draw those yet. And then its neck is just it's already gigantic. And then it just gets bigger from there. Right? Like that. And then its legs, much smaller than you would expect. Like, how are you holding yourself up there, bud? All right. I don't necessarily expect this stream. So, if you don't know, YouTube doesn't promote all things equally. And one thing that they consistently label adult content, or they don't promote generally, is anything with the word gender in it. So this was what I wanted to do today. And when I decided to do it, I was pretty sure it was going to be a slow stream. And that's rough. You don't want to hang on. I think the neck, fine. I think this leg is too far back. So if you are here, welcome. Thanks for coming. If you could like, that would mean a lot. If you could share this stream with somebody else you think might be interested in, I don't know, whatever we're doing here, that'd be awesome. One thing I do like about hippos, not that I've been saying things I don't like about hippos, but one thing I do like about hippos is they look like they're smiling. Or they can smile? I don't know. It's one of those. Okay. I think we'll do a little knee. That'll make that look a little bit better. I think we'll do the same. No, that one's fine. The back one's fine. We're at the sketching stage. It's kind of like the talking stage, but with drawings. I'm trying to get, I think the necks really are this long. It just feels wrong. I think a lot of About a Hippo feels wrong to me. Just like the fact that they don't float. So when hippos are on the top of the water, it's because they're jumping or they're in shallow water. There's a semi-famous Taskmaster moment with a hippo, where one of the contestants draws a hippo and gets really mad. Hey, shroom scales. So this is just a hippo. This hippo is probably binary. This hippo, we don't know this hippo's gender. But I'm drawing things that are like not necessarily girly or boy-y because I did a girly thing stream and then I did a boy-y thing stream. But they're also not necessarily it's not meant to be stereotypical either. So it's things that like I guess boys and girls could like, or yeah, which is everything. Like, right? This is kind of like a oh, thank you, Sarah. Hey Marnie, welcome. Okay, now I was thinking about like what I want this hippo to be like have a hat or something. Thank you for all the hearts. Like I was thinking at first just a top hat, but is that too stereotypical? Do hippos have top hats? Hmm. I mean, just that on the sketch is kind of great. Um, let's do a top hat. I think if that was my first instinct, let's run with it. We'll do the little brim, and then let's make it like a little flamboyant. Just by that I mean it's not like straight up and down. It's not like an old fashioned people would have worn this top hat. It's like a modern costume top hat. That's all I mean by that. So it has like some flair and some ear holes. All right, I like that. We will we'll I've been saving the coloring stage for the end so we can do a couple of sketches. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, like a bit folded and janky. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna like put in some extra kind of jank and some extra like folds because I like that. I like the idea that it's kind of this top hat's been in the water and stuff. This hippo's not swimming. Okay, I'm digging this. Their face is kind of like okay, there we go. Hey, Tap Water, welcome back. Oh, I should use this guy. I've been trying to remember to use this so I don't smudge my drawings. I have probably done so much work. Oh, you know what? Let's give him a bubble pipe to clean up drawings that I just could have used a slip sheet and not had to have cleaned up. I've been really digging like bubble pipes. I don't condone smoking. I don't like, listen, if you smoke, it's terrible. Um, it's not your fault, but it's terrible. It's so bad for you. But like the aesthetic of bubble pipes, pretty cool. Ah, I'm just going to do a little detail on the feet to kind of ground it. We'll throw a little shadow on there. And then we will do the next thing. Oh, do we need like water? There's like water back here. Who's grass? We don't need to do that part right now. I feel like I told somebody this because they were talking about like how to decide when and where to put shadow and like which direction everything is coming from. And I realized that I just always do shadow from the same direction or light my light source from the same direction. All right. So we did a hippo, we did some cake. Let's do, oh, I was saying mountains. I think mountains are great. I just moved into the mountains. I love it. I lived I lived on the West Coast and in Seattle, and I had a view of the Olympia Mountains. It was pretty cool from my apartment. I almost said hotel room. And like over the city, you could see them. Now I live in the Catskills, so they're a little bit more like hilly than these sharp like mountains. They're older. So I'm trying to think which ones to do. And then I lived in, gosh, I lived a lot. Not, I always think like, oh, I've not lived anywhere. But then when I say all the places I've lived, it's a lot. But then when I talk to like my wife, for example, she's lived a lot more places. Hey, cats, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I've been my streaming got later and later recently, and I think I'm missing a lot of like some regulars or some old timers. Um, so I'm trying to get my streaming back into the afternoon because I know that's better for a lot of people. I definitely see more people join when it's in the afternoon, and I prefer to stream in the afternoon also. So it's like, yeah, yeah. So that's I do understand that. Yeah, afternoon for me. Um, because at I've been starting my stream like 3, 4 hours from now, which would make it like midnight or 1 in the morning for you. And so that's probably why I haven't been seeing you. So we could do some, I don't, hmm. Come on, brain, speak. I'm trying to think. Should we do something in front of the mountain? That's always kind of nice. And then, so mountains. So say we have the light coming from this direction. So we want to get some shadows. Shadows on mountains. I feel like shadows is like the thing that make mountains look like mountains. I mean, the shape is great too, but yeah, so I'm a night owl. And I always have been ever since I was like a very young child. Like when I was 5, 6, 7, I would wake up like in the middle of the night and just come out. Yeah, so we're doing anything that you think is like non-binary or boys and girls or both or neither would like. So it's very open. Um, we're considering everything. God, I have to like look at a mountain, I feel like. I should have done a reference photo. I literally just sang a song about always using reference photos. That was not the song. That one was not that good. Sometimes when you look at the shadows on a mountain, you can see like how it's carved by like water running down it. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That's a lot going on. Let's do something. Let's this is starting to look okay, but we're gonna take a while to get there. Um Okay. So we can definitely do a penguin. We did just do someone with a top hat, so let's change the hat. Eating a banana with candles in the banana. I like eating a banana. Little baseball cap. This beak so weird. Yeah, I was working on that by myself. I was getting the derpy face without any encouragement. Um, what is I was just reading a manga and they were talking about like flat face. I I had not heard of this before. I've read manga before, but essentially like it was drawn like this in the manga that I was reading, and I guess it's a type of face. Yeah, this is like exactly what it looked like. Hair, I don't know. They're wearing a hat, a beanie or whatever. But and like there were these little kids and they were so afraid of this guy and they kept yelling at him that he had a flat face and he should hide it. And I was like, that's kind of mean. But yeah, you were saying derpy and that reminded me. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. I did the beak and then I did a mouth underneath it. Like what is my problem? There we go. Little fuzzy penguin. So it feels obvious now, but like penguins and ducks, I just learned. Oh, bye, cats. Yeah, I'll definitely do a necklace. I did a birthday cake at the beginning, so you'll see that. Thanks for stopping in. Great to see you again. That they have like special oil on their feathers that's produced by like an oil gland or whatever. Just like humans have oil in their hair that's produced by oil glands. It's like the same. But it really it affects their waterproofness. And so it's really important for them to like cat driving a car. Ooh, I'm I've gotten pretty good at drawing cats. I am still terrible at drawing cars, but I did one yesterday kind of like on the fly because we were doing boy things, so I did like a subwoofer in like a trunk, and I thought it came out okay. All right. Penguin eating a banana. I think I'm gonna keep the candles out of it. We got a derpy penguin eating a banana. I want to come back and color this one. Like, I like it a lot and I wish I had done it bigger, but maybe we'll add color to it. I've been thinking about turning, so we started a Patreon. People have been asking, and we at this point don't have any paid um, tiers, any paid memberships. But I was thinking the first paid membership would just be like we would send you out a print of one illustration from the live that gets fully rendered, fully made. Hey, Jezrami. Sorry. Hey, Jezrosmi. Oh, hey, welcome, welcome. So this last week I've been drawing boy things and girl things. Let me see, do I have any? And I've just been asking the chat like what's a boy thing and what's a girl thing. And then today I thought like let's do like non-binary things. So we have a hippo in a top hat with a bubble pipe. We have a penguin eating a banana and wearing a cap. He's also wearing a cap. We did, and then yesterday for boy-y things, we did, here's an example. I won't show all of them, but we did a sprocket and a rocket and a hole in your pocket. I think for girl things, I can't find the girl things drawings. They're here somewhere, but I've looked. I looked right before the stream. I couldn't find them. But we did like tiny pockets and we did some bows. We did a ferret with a bow. I do have the ferret with the bow. This was one of the girly drawings. A ferret with a bow and like a little tail jewelry. But oh yeah, I started not too long ago, and anime was definitely a big inspiration, and I started practicing it a lot, and then that got me into other things. So I'm gonna draw this cat driving a car because that was one of the requests, and I think that's a solid non-binary thing. Um, and actually, I think my most successful, something that I've really gotten better and better because of, is this little cartoon I draw. I'm gonna draw it real quick. Here, I have some scrap, and then I'll go back to the car. So I draw a cartoon every day, just for my wife. Whoa, why am I doing it like that? Um, and it's these two little cartoon characters. I say cartoon, I mean like old-fashioned cartoon, not animated, just like a comic, I guess is the right, a comic strip. And it's these two little characters. They're very simple. It's Stella. She's messy right now, but that's okay. I've been looking at the original ones and they're so messy. They don't even look right. It's these two cartoon elephants. Stella and Steffi. And they're sisters. And I use a lot of tricks. So like Stella is two circles, one on top of the other, and then I connect them. Her arms are just tubes, like or cylinders, bendy pipes, which is an old cartoon trick. Her eyes are always just these two little lines. So a lot of that I picked up from anime, and the mouths also are just like classic anime mouths. And Steffi is the same. She has a bunch of rules too. Her eyes are always like this. She has anime mouth, she says whatever, and her arms are tiny, and she's just three circles stacked on top of each other. And so much of my practice and so much of my drawing has come from doing these characters. And just doing them every day, even though like they're so simple, because they're doing stuff and they're like interacting with things and I'm drawing them in different situations, I'm like forced to consider how they move in 3D space and all that stuff, which I never would have thought I would learn from just drawing these guys. But it really makes a huge difference. So that's a thing I attribute a lot of my drawing skills to. Okay, we're doing this car. I think it'll be a convertible because that way I can have the cat without, where's this? I'm gonna draw the line in the back like that you can't see, just so I can get the specs of the car kind of, so I can see where it all is. Okay. That didn't really help, but I think I still got it. And then something else that really helped me, gosh, where is, I did all the planning and then I just ignored it and I'm paying the price for that now. So let's just get back to the planning. Uh, I think that's a good example. Something else that helped me is just like being like, oh, this is bad, or like stopping working on things I don't like when I don't like them and trying again. Having um the ability to just start again. Like I see this a lot with other artists and myself when I was in the before is you think if you gave, so there's an experiment where they built cars for rats and taught them how to drive, and then the rats loved driving and they would drive everywhere. They wanted to drive. It became like a leisure activity then. They thought it was so fun. You think if we built cars for cats, that they would be into it? Okay. We can skinny this up a little bit, make it a little bit sleeker, but I'm gonna stick with this. And then we'll get the cat. This is a good one. This is something that like I'm not super comfortable doing cars. I've said this before. I'm bad at cars and like cars are something when you're like a boy in grade school, at least when I was a boy in grade school, like drawing cars was something that everyone did. And like you had a lot of social cachet about how good you could draw cars, dinosaurs, and stick figures fighting. Those were the big. Hey, Emily Yesenia. Hey, how you doing? Those were the big things that you had to be able to draw as a boy. I think the girls I knew had to be able to draw horses. That's the number one thing I remember. Oh yeah, like cats would have been up there. Um, oh, that's terrible. I had I had some stomach issues recently, and for a split second I thought it might be a stomach virus, but thank God it wasn't. It's miserable. I'm so sorry to hear that. What do they say? Drink a lot of fluids. That's real good advice. And that's all I got. That's all I got for you. Rest. Oh yeah, we can make this back also kind of sleek. Nah, it didn't work very good. We'll just bring down just this little. Oh, yeah, no problem. It's kind of a very non-binary thing. Not a boy thing or a girl thing today. So you fit right in. We're doing a cat in a car, and then I'll go over the other ones we drew in just a second. Okay. Yeah, high fiber, that makes a lot of sense. I forget about that. Like to keep everything to help you keep everything down. Yeah, and then yeah, drink a lot of fluids. The problem is when you're sick like this, you lose so much fluids and you don't realize it often, and it can be really like a lot of work to keep them up, to keep them replenished. Yes, that's also smart. I'm happy you saw the doctor. That's always good. But yeah, like what are those called? Electrolyte drinks that really help hydrate you. All right, not great, but I like it. Seats. Yeah, we could we could curve some stuff, kind of make it look more like a modern car, but a cat driving a car. That wheel is not in plane. There we go. Oh, no problem, unknown planet. Welcome, welcome. Oh yeah. Door handle. Maybe there's the windows partially rolled up. You can't see this back one. I've turned out to really like drawing cars. Yeah, we can draw Powerade. I don't think Powerade's I'm trying to think if there's something about Powerade we could make more yeah. I don't know what Powerade looks like, but I'm just gonna draw like a electrolyte drink. I used to really like, I don't dislike it now, but I used to draw a lot of containers and bottles. I liked it I think in part because like I like to draw like witchy kinds of things, like, and so you can draw containers and you put like weird stuff in them, and you get like you get the weird stuff gets becomes extra interesting to me because you get to have the container. You also get to make the container interesting. Sometimes it's hard to think and draw. Gonna round this corner's off. Oh, actually, that cap is not in the middle. So we'll scoot the cap over. You got the wide mouthed. Ooh, turtles. Yeah, I got the finger holds. You can see them on the bottom. You're about to see them on the top. The label goes around the finger holds, right? I'm not crazy. Maybe we'll make the label shorter. I have aphantasia, which means I cannot imagine things in my head. I was able to imagine absolutely zero things in my head. Visualize. When I say imagine, I mean visualize, um, for most of my life. And then recently, as I've been drawing more and more and more and more, I'm starting to be able to imagine sometimes a couple of things in my head. Like it's very limited, like maybe 5 times. But there's that. Yeah, I have aphantasia. Exactly, exactly. Turtles are great. Yeah. So one thing I really like about Spanish, I took Spanish in school. I don't use it very often. We lived places where like there was nobody who spoke Spanish. We're living someplace now where more and more people speak Spanish, so maybe I'll use it again. But um, you have the soy and a star. They both mean to be, but one is for temporary things and one is for permanent things. And so if I said like I have aphantasia, that's permanent. I in English we might say to convey that same thing, I am aphantasic or aphantastic or whatever the but in Spanish, then there's the other one, which is right. So I think soy is ser or soy is the one that is permanent. So you say like, so people might say like, I am poor, and that means they are poor and it's a permanent situation, like soy pobre, and like it's never going to change, right? But if you said pobre, that means right now you're poor, but that's not like part of who you are. That is a mutable. Oh, that's crazy. I never even thought about that because I can't imagine things at all. I never thought like, yeah, close your eye. Like that's so interesting. All right, let's do a turtle. I think turtles are we'll throw some berries and a blast. There's a blast. Here's some berries. But I think part of like I always drew because if I want to imagine what something is going to look like, I gotta I gotta write it down. Okay. Cat with a car, fun distraction. I think I'm hooked on turtles now. What's the difference between a turtle and a tortoise? Are turtles like tortoises? I think like a tortoise is always on the ground and a turtle is in the I don't know. We had, I think, box turtles where I grew up, and you'd see them. And you'd always heard like turtles are really slow, but then the box turtles would be like moving it through the yard. Like when they wanted to be, they'd be pretty fast. We did have snapping turtles, but I never saw one in the wild. There was a one or two in the pond that we went swimming in, so you got warned. Oh, big glasses, odd fun. Beautiful. I love that. I love that for them. Okay. The burger. The burger is in the other room. Scan that in. Oh yeah, totally got distracted, which is the most normal for me thing ever. Um, yeah, we started a Patreon just because we said we would do it if people asked, and people asked. And we just have the free membership. It's like no right now. But what we'll probably do is do a paid membership of like a couple bucks, and then we would send out, um, and the Patreons could vote on it, a a print of one of the drawings. I would finish it and make it look really nice, and then we would print it and send it out on postcards. And yeah, that's the whole thing. So I think that would be fun. Face reveal. Yeah. I show my face. If you go to Oddfud's channel, um, we do vlogging on there and other things. You'll see my face, and you'll also see us like prepare and clean up our tiny apartment. We were living in her parents' house, and she grew up with like 100 siblings. I did too, but we lived in different houses because, like that's how we went. Oh yeah, friendly bearded illustrator. Odd Fudd. She just said friendly bearded illustrator. And so we are moving from that house, which had like, I don't know, so many bedrooms, 7, 8, something like that, and 100 bathrooms, to this tiny 1 bedroom apartment. And we've kept most of our stuff. Uh, we've had to really come up with some creative storage solutions. Oh yeah. Oddfud has some of my early Stella Steffies on her channel, and I find them like really beautiful and adorable, and also like immensely embarrassing because they're from like 6 or 7 years ago, and I am not the artist I am today in those drawings. And I don't know, I find it really embarrassing. I like it. I'm really happy she's sharing them, but also, okay. Turtles, turtles, turtles. Yeah, so we used to find these turtles all over the place. I'm tempted to say they're not around as much anymore, but honestly, it's probably just because I'm not out playing in the like trails and the yards and everything anymore because, okay. So, how do turtle shells work? They're like, oh, is it back? They're kind of like off put hexagons. I couldn't see a good reference photo. So this is half memory, half guessing, half educated guess. Well, it doesn't look terrible. This is just a sketch. Well, if we decide to color it or something, we can redo the shell geometry. I remember their feet were like scary. They're like very sharp. They looked like they had little claws. Their belly was yellow. Yeah, so then you grow up hearing, or I grew up hearing like the tortoise and the hare, and like every cartoon turtle, every turtle in children's fiction is like going along like doop doop doo doop doop doo. Oh yeah, like yeah, okay, let's get the kind of show that ridge better. There we go. But then you see real turtles, or I saw real turtles, and they'd be like, "Wing! Hey, it's Franklin." I have a friend, and something came up, and I started singing the "Hey, it's Franklin" theme song. Just kind of like this. We were probably talking about turtles or something, and he was like, "I hate that show. I can't stand it." And I was like, "Oh my God, like, why? Like, that's such a like crazy take for an adult." Um, yeah, exactly. So fast. And he was like, "Yeah, well, I watched one episode and the kid was like only going over to his friend's house to play video games." And he was really offended. My friend was really offended. And so now he doesn't like Franklin. Turtles kind of have a beak, so I think we'll try to get that beak in, and then their mouths kind of go all the way back. And got like kind of a leathery neck. Aw, hey, country ball. I'm trying to remember. I don't. Your icon looks familiar. It's very small, but I I vaguely remember your hanging American flag. I think it's an American flag icon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, yeah. I got them here actually. They've been sitting on my side table. I don't know why. All right, so I'm going to make the turtle's glasses like have a really big effect. So what is this? Refraction? I think it's refraction. So we're gonna make his eyes much bigger than his face, and the side of his head where the glasses are also much bigger than his face. I Oh, is Chica another Freddy Fazbear? What is it? Five Nights at Freddy's. So if I leave the room, I'll get the burger. But the burger is going to be on the Discord. I'll put that up at the end of the stream. And maybe I'll make a community post also because I did clean up the burger and scan it in and everything and convert it to digital. Yeah, so I think a lot of stuff I'm also going to make available on TeePublic, um, so that if anyone wants it from the stream, they can get it on a T-shirt. I think they do worldwide. They can get it on a T-shirt or even a sticker. I think stickers are like $2. Um, yeah, so if anyone has any specific one that they're hoping gets turned into a sticker, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I Bonnie, okay. Refraction, yeah, magnific refraction, yeah. I was trying to think like when the pencil goes through water and it's like over here. I'm drawing off screen. I do this all the time. Less now. That's refraction, right? Yeah, because this is called it's because the refractive index of water and the refractive index of air are different. Okay, okay. Yeah, sometimes my brain is like dumb. Okay, I'm digging this turtle. I had a friend when I was young and they had a turtle and they were like, "Oh, come over, we have the turtle. We have a turtle." I was going over for a completely different reason, but they were like, "Oh, also, we have a turtle. You can see the turtle." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I showed up. Oh, cool. Was that a polar bear or a and their turtle had their nails painted. And their mom had painted the turtle's nails just like a with nail polish, like a classic red. And that I never stopped thinking about that. I don't know why. I don't know. His mom was just cool like that, I guess. Oh no, I think I've been trying to think of adding something else to the turtle for sure. I think your instincts are right that the turtle needs something, but I just don't know what. You know who this reminds me of? Sheldon. No, Sheldon is a character on Big Bang. Great name for a turtle, though. What is, I want to say Franklin, but that's a different turtle. Who's the turtle from Rocco's Modern Life? That's the turtle this guy reminds me of. A toque. Yeah, I'm adding some wrinkles. I think that's definitely part of it. Oh yeah, I like the idea of like a scar. Like, you know, people like have a scar on their eyebrow, and then you're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And they're like, "When I was 2, I ran into my dog." And you're like, "Oh, that's really not that big of a deal." I have a scar, but it's on the back of my head, so you'll never see it unless I shave my head. And even then, you have to like kind of be looking for it. I mean, I have other scars too. Oh, my hands. Jeez, they're so red. I have a little scar right there. I jumped down into a hole um, because I couldn't stand to be around the people I was with when I was 6. The people were my family. Um, so I have an obsessive disorder. I understand now that that was a symptom of my obsessive disorder. Uh, but at the time, it was very funny that I was just like, there were stairs, and instead of taking the stairs, I just Filbert, thank you. I just leapt down the hole. I wouldn't suggest it. Hole leaping. Oh yeah, I don't have as many of those, although sometimes I get an itch on my shoulder, and then I scratch it, and then it's like a smiley face because I was an edgy teen, and I have like a smiley face scar. All right, I am like like, do we see this other leg? I don't think we see this other leg. Yeah, I think that's hidden behind his body, so I think that's fine. Yeah, it would be like here, like, no. Yeah, no, we don't see it. The top would be here-ish, and then out, down. Yeah, like maybe we'd see a little tiny bit right there, but no, we don't see it. Yeah, I'm gonna do the shell, I think, a little bit better because I am really digging this. Let me look up. Let me look up their shells specifically. Box turtle shell. Hey, it's Filbert. I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous. That's Filbert from Rocco's Modern Life. Oh, I mean, 1, 2, 3. Oh man, it's a pentagon. I thought maybe. Do they? I know their. I know their feet are like much more scaly. and their toes are a little bit more toey. Hey, Liza Rahim. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think, yeah, well, let me look up Felix from Lost Kids. I feel like I've had this request before. Let's give it a look. I I have a song stuck in my head from every time I work on this turtle. Every time I like turn around and come back to work on it, and it's like I do not know why that is the song. So I was thinking it was hexagons because like hexagons are often the easiest way to tile things. So if you make circles and then compress them, they turn into hexagons. What's Sly Cooper? Um, so that's what I thought is that they would be hexagons, but pentagons are also have some like sometimes bubbles will turn into pentagons, and I wonder why it's pentagons. We can use hexagony things as so one thing that's really neat, I'm thinking out loud, is when you grid something. Ooh, is it a good game? I've played a ton of PS2 games over the years. I've gone back and like I've looked up like, you know what, like best video games from X system, and then I try to play them. And some of them are really amazing. So I will look that up. Um, yeah. Wait, is it Lost Kids? Stray Kids. Ah, K-pop. Okay. I think I think we'll skip people today, but on another day you'd have it. But today we're trying to do um non-binary slash and listen, I think that fits in. I think you that's not a bad like K-pop is pretty good, but um I keep typing it wrong. Okay, I like actually I'm thinking it's maybe it's even better than pretty good. Let's do a quick sketch of Felix from Stray Kids and see how we feel. No guarantee it's gonna be pretty. Um, I'm not great at drawing people. It just takes me a few tries. But I'm seeing like a very pretty mullet on Felix, and that feels very much in line with today's theme. So I want to, yeah, bro's face is like an anime. Okay, neck or whatever. Okay, the eyes will go here. The nose is here. And the lips are lips. All right. Might have to move the chin up a little. I never could do a chin up. Eventually I could. That's never is a strong word. But I was like a teenager before I could do a chin up. All right. I'm going to erase some of this guidelines. They've served their purpose. I feel like noses for me, like I really struggle with the nose. I don't know why. Like I think I can draw them and they look fine, but I never think they look right. And sometimes I have to like totally leave and come back. And then I'm like, oh, this nose was fine. What was I freaking out about? Um, I think my brain plays tricks on me when I try to draw noses and it goes, that's terrible. And I'm like, are you sure, brain? I did all the right things. And it's like, yeah, terrible. And then I come back the next day and I'm like, that looks great. I don't know what the hell my problem is. And I wonder, like, there must be other things that are like that. Sometimes I watch these videos of live streams and, like, I don't generally go back and rewatch my own live streams, but sometimes I do. And there'll be something that in the moment I was like, this is really bad. I don't like it. I'm gonna like stop. I'm gonna redraw it. I'll do something else. And then I look at it the next day on the live stream and it's fine. It's good even. Like what? Why am I like this? Yeah. So I feel like this is just a thing. I bet everybody's kind of like this. That cheekbone came out a little too far. Ba-ba, ba-dum. Up, up. Okay. So I think I'm gonna mix two. I've seen a couple different reference photos of him, and I think I'm gonna kind of mix a couple because I really like he's wearing this hat that feels great. So I'm gonna do the hat and in the photos with the hat, he doesn't seem to have the mullet, but I like this mullet also a lot. So I'm gonna do both. right, not terrible. Is this face even? It's kind of even. Are the eyes? There's something off. But it might be the nose. Let's erase some of these other guidelines. Let's see if that helps. Sometimes it's just that. Sometimes I think something is off and I work on it for so long. And then I'm like, well, this is as good as it's going to get. And I erase the guidelines and it looks fine. And I'm like, what the hell? But sometimes, like are the lips? Like, yeah, that's straight. Eh. This is why I don't like to draw people on stream because it takes me a few iterations to get them right. But he has very non-binary energy. So I thought it's worth a shot. I like this hat with like kind of ridiculously oversized floppy whatever like gives the feeling of like cat ears without it being like cat ears. So ear to ear would be here. Okay. Maybe this eye is a little high. I think that's what it is. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I've learned as I've gotten more and more practice and I've gotten more and more I've done more and more illustrating. Like at this point, I don't think there's anything I like can't draw, but it's definitely like I can draw an animal in maybe 20 minutes and I can get full color of an animal in like a couple of hours. But a person, that's going to take me all day. Oh my God. Why does that look so freaky? Where's my other eraser? I need to bust out the big guns. Sometimes when I'm feeling like this is what I do. There we go. Felix from Stray Kids. We'll do a I was gonna say like a fake like a rhinestone skull, but I don't think that would fit. I mean, not in the illustration. You could do a rhinestone skull in real life, but let's do like a rhinestone heart. Just gonna make little, well, I was trying to make hexagons, but I'm just gonna do little circles, I guess. All right. Let me see. I know there was. All right. 440. Okay. I'm going to drop the turtle. I will be right back. I'm going to grab the hot dog. What was it? The hamburger. But I need to grab a water. You guys will let people know. I'll be right back. Does that all fit? Okay, perfect. All right. I also got a croissant. Burger. All right. I think a good non-binary thing. Like, will you? You'll see. Let's see. I'm thinking somebody wearing a tomato hat. Something about a tomato hat feels incredibly non-binary to me. I think it would obviously be crocheted. When I first was taking art classes, like years ago in school, in like grade school, I was taught that like this is the shape of eyes. And then they drew some shape, I don't remember. And like that was eyes. And for years I drew eyes like that. I didn't do a lot of drawing from life. And so that's part of the problem why it never got corrected. But like eyes are shaped all different ways. The evil nose. Sometimes it's better just to do. I think this tomato hat will have like little crochet ties. This is the only reason I want to learn crochet is to make hats. I was actually taught to crochet by my grandma, my nana, like a million years ago, but I've forgotten. Hmm. I think oversized t-shirt, classic. Hmm. What if what if they're holding on to the strings of their hat? That'll bring the focus back to the hat, which was the whole impetus of this particular drawing anyway. I got to draw the t-shirt like bunched up around their elbows because it's so long it actually it goes below their elbows. I think that means also I need to make the t-shirt longer. Hey Birdman, what did you suggest yesterday? I think I will because I did say that I would do a request stream today and I ended up changing that, but because I told you I would, we can see. Well, what was it? Hip, first leg. I think we have to go a little skinnier than that because his arms are so skinny, or their arms are so skinny. Flippy floppies. Okay, I just realized since the collar is hanging down to this side, so would the bottom of the shirt be hanging down to that side. So let's just do that a little. The shirt can be as long or as short as we want because somebody might have cut it or hemmed it or whatever. So we don't have to follow like manufacturer specs on the shirt. Was it? It was a tram, right? A trolley. It wasn't an elevator? Yeah, definitely. We moved here without what the heck? Because we needed to move, and this was someplace we wanted to move, and it worked out. But they have a free bus system. It's great. Oh my gosh. Broken lead bothers me so much. It's so dumb. I break lead all the time. It doesn't bother me so much. What bothers me is when I don't realize it and I try to draw, and instead I scrape the metal of the pencil against the paper. That sucks. Okay. I really like this guy. Oh, take care, Liz. Or Liz Arahim. Thank you. Thanks for stopping in. Good luck on your studying. I am noshing on this croissant. So I stream Wednesdays, and then I always schedule it so right as the stream ends, I have to go, um, which is dumb. So, and then I don't eat, and then I'm hungry. It causes all sorts of problems. So today I thought I would grab that extra croissant. I'm meaning to go to work on this not anamorphic trolley. I keep doing more detail on this new character because I just can't get over them. Okay. Yeah, Burban, we totally do. It's in my bio on the channel on CMonster, and you might be able to search it, but there's definitely an invite in the channel. We have art share, and yeah, I love to see everybody's art. We have some good things. Another regular just did like an animation. We see some people like just starting out, and so like you can really see they're improving so fast. And we have other people who like Fungi, who like still like sells their art already, and you can see how good they are. Hey, Froggy. Froggy is the goat. All right. Now we're gonna do the trolley. You know, all I can think of for the trolley, huh? Tap water. Maybe another day, tap water. But all I can think about for the trolley is it's like a brand, and in their commercial there's a trolley. What brand is that? And it's like bing bing bing. Uncle is it Uncle Ben's? I mean, you guys might not know. In When I was a kid growing up on TV, there was a commercial for a trolley. So we're gonna do a trolley, but there was a commercial for something. The San Francisco treat, I think, was the. Oh wait, because there's also the trolley. Okay, okay. So there's these old-fashioned buses that are electric. Most of them are electric. I think it trolley means electric um, for a bus. So there's these old-fashioned buses. I'm going to sketch one out real quick. I always say that, and then, but no, seriously. They're very square. They are sometimes like open. And they often run on tracks. So they have like kind of train wheels. And that track like provides them electricity sometimes, or sometimes they have like a thing that comes up here and connects to a wire that provides them electricity. Yeah, just be appropriate. There's a PG-13 um, channel. If you're like, if you're unsure, you can post it in there. But it's like we do have young people on the server in the channel like who are fans, and so like we're not trying to alienate them or make them feel uncomfortable. Um, that's basically the main rule. Like we're not. That's basically the main rule. I think. So you have this kind of trolley. It's like the wire and the windows and the track wheels. And these have been around since the late 1800s, I think. Yeah, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I'd say that. And then if it's like a fantasy gun, maybe that's in the regular one. I'm gonna, unless there's a problem, I'm gonna continue to trust people's judgment. The only other thing is I don't want anyone, especially underage people, but I like as an example, I don't want anyone to say their age, um, because we don't, it's not safe, right? Like unfortunately, the we've seen this over and over again that in creator spaces, people will go to try and harass and otherwise young people, and we don't want that. Okay, so we can definitely do eyes. I think eyes here is pretty good. This trolley is almost do it. Oh yeah, we'll do a little nose. We'll like bulge this out a little bit, make this a nose real quick, and then this can be like a mustache. We'll just change this guard into like a mustache, and then the mustache could even just cover the mouth like uh like all good mustaches do, or just mine, maybe just mine. I'm thinking about not cutting my mustache off, but like seriously trimming it. It's very long. Um, and I usually like it, but it's getting to the point where it's a little hard to style. And I'm not sure, like, I guess I should look up some YouTube videos on people with long mustaches and see what they're doing, because maybe there's tips and tricks that I just don't know. Okay, I'm liking this. Yeah, Fred the trolley engine, yeah. This he's looking good. Like Fred, you got going on. What's going on here? We'll do. I kind of want to do like windshield wipers as eyebrows. Oh yeah, we'll do windshield wipers as eyebrows, and we'll just have them instead of coming up from the bottom. We'll just have them come up from the sides. Like there's no rule about where what the motors are. I've actually seen a lot of buses with like big old nope. We'll do it from here so he doesn't look angry. Windshields like this that do have either a gigantic windshield wiper, which I think is it's too much. Okay, we've had two people request bowl cuts on this episode, so I think we will do a bowl cut on Fred here. Man, I when I was young, the bowl cut, I don't know, it feels like it was brand new. I know it wasn't brand new, but like it felt so like but yeah, I had a bowl cut for years and I never liked it. But like a lot of the cool kids also had bowl cuts. So I don't know. You know who this reminds me of? Is it David Correros? I think he's New Zealand comedian. So I'm a huge fan of Taskmaster, the television series, the comedy TV show. It originated in Britain, but it's all over the world. You, depending on where you live, you might even have one in your native language. There's a bunch in English. Um, so if English is your native language, you definitely have one in English. But even otherwise, I've seen at least Dutch. I'm trying to think of French, Swedish. I can't think of any more. I went with a bald fade. Okay. Oh, yeah. A bald fade with bangs. Sounds like it slaps. Yeah, so my mom, I sometimes my grandma, my nana would bring me to the barber, but my mom would never bring me to the barber. She cut my hair, and it would always be a bowl cut. And not only would it always be a bowl cut, it would be a bad bowl cut. Like, she did not like that she was bad at it. And then so she would get like angry that she was doing a bad job. And then that would cause all sorts of problems. And, it just kind of cascaded to be worse and worse. I think if you have parents, this has probably happened. Or if you know parents. Oh, I think, will we see this? Yeah, let's are in like the French. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I think I'm doing like a San Francisco tri style. But then I was also thinking, whoa, I can't believe I used this racer. Look, it's all done. I was also thinking about trolleys in the UK and maybe other places. They have trolleys that are like, they're just shopping carts. I would call them a shopping cart, but they call them trolleys. What the heck is my problem? All right. I've heard some people call them shopping buggies, but the only thing I would think of if I heard buggy would be like either an old-fashioned car that like isn't fully enclosed usually or has really big wheels like a dune buggy or um, for the children uh, a children's a children's container. I have no idea what they're called. uh, why a stroller. I think we would call it a stroller. Jeez. Sometimes when I'm trying to think of what other English words are English words, that's when I do the worst. A shopping trolley. What did we call this guy? Bernard? Frederick? Let's see. I'm looking for it. I thought it was good. Fred. Yeah, Fred. Okay, perfect. All right. I think Fred the trolley, not too far off from the French Quarter trolleys. I mean, I guess they would have extra wheels. We can do that. The French Quarter trolleys seem to be more, a little bit more train. All right. Yesterday my battery ran out. Oh, we're still good. We're still good. All right. I think I'm probably going to do about a half an hour more. I think let's, what else have we done? I think let's color the turtle a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna grab some yellow to start because when I think of turtles, for whatever reason, I'm always reminded of like how yellow their green is. Also, they're like, well, you know what? We'll draw their we'll draw some of the feet scales, I think, because that'll be good too. I think it's really scales. Is this? It reminds me of like a fish scales. But I guess lizards have scales and turtles are reptiles, right? Wait, are turtles reptiles or are they? Hmm. Also, I'm saying turtles, but this is a box turtle. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's actually a turtle. You know, like sometimes they're like, this is the Western, like, sea snail. It's a clam. And you're like, okay. This is the Eastern red falcon. It's actually not a falcon at all. Why do we do that? Hey, welcome, Eyes of Art. Today we were drawing non-binary things. Things that, like, non-binary-ish. We did girly, we did boyish over the last few days, and then we just did non-binary. And one of them was a turtle. Oh, what was we did the turtle with glasses. Oh man, yeah, ground wasp. We did a turtle with glasses. We did a penguin eating a banana and wearing a cap. We did, I forgot about this. We did a hippo with a beat up hat and a bubble pipe. We did a trolley that's what is it? Anamorphic? No, anthropomorphic. But I have about a half hour left, so we thought we would color the turtle. And so we're going through and doing some of the scales, some of the finish work. And then we would do the coloring. But yeah, usually I come up with a theme, although sometimes I do straight request streams. We live in an apartment that has steam heat. And it is loud. It is all clicky clicky, click clickety clackety. Sometimes in the middle of the night it'll be like ba ba boom ba choom, and you're like, oh my gosh, did somebody drop something? Is someone banging on the wall? Well, it's just the steam pipes. All right, I think that's good. I'm gonna come in and do sort of a little yellow texture. Same here, a little yellow texture. Same here, a little yellow texture. I feel like this is really dirty. I'm just gonna this too. After we add the rest of the color, it's going to be much harder to correct any of this line texture work. And I think I would rather it be sparse. This one's fine. Okay. And then I think I'll do the ridge. Let me erase that. Also with a bit of yellow. We're going to go in with orange and probably a little brown also. Because like, while turtles are generally green, like there's a lot more going on. We have this green, which I think like feels right because it's like a very yellowy green, and it's not super vibrant, but I think that's what I want, especially for here in the seam. And as a I'm trying to think of the word, like to saturate these legs to give them more of a green tone. before we come back in with some brown and probably some orange. Okay, we have the brown. Actually, I'm going to do the darker brown. You know, now I'm kind of wishing. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how it works on this back leg. I think most of the color stayed, did not get erased. And what happens if we use this brown to do our line work here? Yeah, I think that's much better. We'll do a little shadow. Use the brown for that too. All right, let's do the same here. Even though we did that pencil work, I think it's definitely advantageous to do that with the brown. Okay, I'm going to sharpen it a little. If I can find my sharpener, here it is. So sharp. Swing. I'm trying to think. We were talking about bowl cuts. Pretty great. Hmm. I got nothing. I'm at a loss. I'm just getting these scales done. A lot of textural stuff I tried to do with color, or at least leave it to the color, but sometimes when you're drawing it on the stream and you're rendering something in pencil, you want it to look like what it is. And so you'll, or I'll do some texture with the pencil. And then, like, it's always like, do I want to erase that work that I did and then do other stuff? And I think the answer is almost always yes. But sometimes it's hard to want to erase your stuff, even if it's going to have a better outcome. I'm going to come in here with this brown and just kind of get some pretty hard shading. I find that sometimes a good shade will really elevate a piece. Usually if I'm coloring digitally, which I don't know if I've ever done like a full digital color on stream. because I think it takes a lot of concentration, and I kind of think it's boring, but maybe it's not. I think the sketching, this part, like when you start doing everything, I think that's the interesting part. Okay. The pencil stuck to my hand, and then when I lifted up my hand, it threw the pencil. Here it is. Okay. So I think this is starting to look right. I'm gonna test this green. It's really green. I have this one also. This is better. This is the one I've been using, which I think is right. But okay, I think this needs some more yellow. So I don't know if you guys have seen these pencil sharpeners before that have the two different sized holes. Oh, thank you, Oddfud. I always thought it was for different sized pencils. I genuinely was like, this is if you have a big pencil. And you do see some big pencils that benefit from that. But as an artist, what I've realized is if you want a lot of the lead showing, for example, coloring on the side, which is what I'm going to do with this, use the small one like this. And that gives you a nice long lead that you can then use to lay down a lot of color over a bigger area. But what am I going to use? If you want, say, you want this to be sharp, but you don't necessarily want to go through a lot of lead. Here, I'll do a different one because there is one I will want to be sharp. So let me find one. If you want this to be sharp, you use the bigger one. And that you won't see as much lead, but your tip will get sharper faster. So you're not wasting as much of the lead to get a sharp tip. And that's my sharp tip of the day. I've never done a tip of the day before. I don't know. Hey, it's Franklin. Coming over to play your video games. I'm not your real friend. That's the song my friend used to sing whenever I brought up Franklin. He was really traumatized. I thought it was funny because he was always coming over my house to play video games. And I was like, bro. Projection much? Okay. I'm going to do a little orange to bring some of this yellows into a different direction. I don't want it to be very noticeable. I don't want you to look and be like, oh, that's orange. But I want the yellow to be orangier. A lot of the, yeah, I think that's a good solid orangey or yellow. I'm gonna come in here with this guy. Ah, I really want to be careful with this because I don't think I really want this super dark green everywhere. It's like it's so the first green we used is very yellow. This green is pretty straight blue yellow mix. It's like I think it is a little bit closer to blue than it is to yellow. And I don't want to push the main color of the turtle closer to blue. But blue is a great color to use for shadows. And it can help push some of the green into a slightly less yellow territory, which I do want. So I'm gonna try to use it, but sparingly. Okay. Okay. I feel like the texture on this leg was either done dumb, either I messed it up at the beginning, or it's gotten covered up and rubbed away. So I'm just coming back with that brown. That's what I like about these colored pencils specifically. These are the Prismacolor. They don't erase very good, but they go over each other really well. And so like I've used not this one. I've used a lot of crayons and some other colored pencils, and they just oh, they like once you lay down one color, the other ones like won't go down. Like you can't like I just went green and I think that's too blue green. I can just take the yellow or green and bring it back. And I think a lot of like I said, a lot of crayons like or some cheaper colored pencils, when you try to do that it doesn't work. They are a little erasable, but I think it's better to just keep adding on most of the time. Okay. So the shell. They're kind of just brown. So a lot of them have like a sort of yellow pattern. I'm gonna try to I say sort of yellow. It's almost yellow. It's almost more orange. So I'm gonna draw a little bit of this yellow, kind of mark that off. I'm gonna do the orange then on top of it. Go back to the yellow. I think that is fine. This is I think this is going to look okay for the pattern. And then I'm going to do a light of orange also, because I want the long lead. I'll use the small pencil sharpener. Got a nice long lead now. And try to avoid the point so I can get some some light orange on this yellow instead of the point, which will give me the like orange lines. I don't want that. You know, this little spot here feels like I just noticed like it was all pencil lead and no color. We can take the brown and put in those lines. Okay. I, I'm really torn on this. I have a couple of ideas on what to do. I think I'm going to take this yellow brown and do the whole shell. But lightly. Kind of pull everything together. Pull it all towards a darker color. This will pull the yellows towards the darker color, but it'll also pull whatever we put on top of it. I'm trying to be careful. You see, I just did a dark patch, a couple of dark patches. I'm trying to be careful not to do dark patches. And that's just the way you hold it can create that. And we will do a little bit of darker patches right along the edge and right along the ridge. Now let's also do this darker green. And for this darker green, I'm going to try to avoid the yellow. This is the darker green that's also bluer. Okay. And now I think it's time for the real brown. So the real brown is going to go on pretty hard. It is going to interact with the yellow a bit because it is going to be what defines the edges of the yellow. So instead of having to use black in order to make this really darker brown here on the edges, That's why I laid down those other colors, because I want it to still be in the green family, or like to be unified with the rest of the color of the turtle. But the edges of around this turtle shell is very dark, often very dark. It's like dark, tortoise shell is a thing. Hmm. I'm liking it. Get behind these glasses a little bit. I think instead of, well, I'm going to try to make the brown outlines as uniform as possible. Maybe not as possible. Pretty uniform. Okay. I think let's go back in with some yellow, some orange, and see where we come out. I think orange. Let's go back in with some orange. Hang on. I just made a flat spot so I could get like this, a lighter, more detailed layer of orange on. Because if I use the whole side of the pencil to get a lighter overlay, then it would have to be pretty big. And by doing it like that, by creating a little flat spot, now you have a little flat spot, and you can okay, there's spots where I need a little bit more orange. And I think maybe the brown could use a little orange. Nah, I think maybe it's time to do the black. But all right, it's time for me to go. I think black rims for his glasses. Bye, Unknown Planet. Thanks so much for being here. It was a good stream today. Had a great time. I think your recommendations and stuff were great. And I should be on tomorrow. All right. Bye.